everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian with the Twin Lakes Libraries, and I use they, them pronouns. For today's episode, we are going to be looking at some dragon books to tie in with our summer reading club theme of Tales and Tales. And last summer, we actually did an episode on dragon books, and I'll have a link to that in the video notes, and I'll just briefly show you those books we talked about last time before we get into some deep dives with newer books that have come out. Also, last week's craft episode, I did a paper craft of the dragon Haku from Spirited Away, so if you want to check that out and maybe try making that craft. And then this week is a take-home craft. We're going to be doing origami, and I might even try to do an origami dragon and see how that goes. Alright, so first up, we have Talon by Julie Kagawa. This is the first in a 5-book series. It is a contemporary setting, so it's sort of like an urban fantasy, and you've got dragon shifters and dragon hunters and a love triangle, and I really enjoyed this one, so check it out. Then we've got the ever-popular Eragon by Christopher Paolini. This is the first in a 4-book series. It's set in a fantasy world, and it's sort of like a boy and his dragon versus the evil empire, and there are lots of different like fantasy, I guess we'd say creatures or different races of beings like elves and dwarves, and yeah, it's really good. We have The Caged Queen. This is book 2 of the Iskari series. The first book is The Last Namsara. This is also in a fantasy world. It has like royalty and dragon hunting and like intrigue and conspiracy, so it's really good. Then Fireborne by Rosaria Munda. This is the first book in the Aurelian cycle. Book 2, Flamefall, just came out this spring. And this is, to me, kind of gives me like How to Train Your Dragon vibes, where the two main characters are going off to learn how to ride dragons and fight dragons and all that good stuff. It was one of my favorite books of last year. Alright, and then some newer books. I just read this one last week. It's Fire with Fire by Destiny Soria. So I'm going to read you the summary. Danny and Eden Rivera were born to kill dragons, but that's the only thing the sisters have in common. For Danny, dragon slaying takes a backseat to her everyday high school life. For Eden, slaying is her life. Yet they both agree on one thing. Where dragons are concerned, it's kill or be killed. That is, until Danny actually meets a dragon and ends up forging a rare and magical soul bond with him. As they grow closer, she begins to question everything she thought she knew. Suddenly, the one thing Eden and Danny always agreed on is the one thing that could tear their world apart. With Danny lost to the wrong side, Eden knows she'll have to risk everything to bring her sister back from the edge, even turning to the mysterious and alluring sorcerers for help. Now on opposite sides of an impending war, the sisters will do whatever it takes to save the other. But the two are playing with magic that is more dangerous than they could imagine, and there is another, more powerful enemy waiting for both of them in the shadows. So yeah, there's a lot of things I loved about this book. One is that it has a rural setting in Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains, which I love, so that was really cool to read about. And I also like that while there is kind of like a romance subplot, the main focus of this is on the bond and rivalry between the two sisters, and you get like both of their perspectives, which was great. Also, the characters are Latinx, and that was just really cool to read. Danny is bisexual, so also great. And yeah, it was, I enjoyed it a lot. I really also loved the dragons in this. They're really cool. So I highly recommend. Then we have Burn by Patrick Ness. January 1957 in the Pacific Northwest. Sarah Dewhurst and her father, outcast in their little town of Frome, Washington, are forced to hire a dragon to work their farm. something only the poorest of the poor have to resort to. Unfortunately, this has been Sarah's lot since the death of her mother. The dragon, Casimir, has more to him than meets the eye, though. Sarah can't help but be curious about him, an animal who supposedly doesn't have a soul, but who is seemingly intent on keeping her safe from the brutal attentions of Deputy Sheriff Emmett Kelby. Because the dragon knows something she doesn't. He has arrived at the farm with a prophecy on his mind, a prophecy that involves a deadly assassin, a cult of dragon worshippers, 2 FBI agents in hot pursuit, and somehow Sarah Dewhurst herself. This is another one of my favorite books from last year. I really love Patrick Ness. I feel like all of his books, they always end up going places I never would have predicted, and he just is a brilliant writer. So this one, like it said, it's set in 1957, so you've got like that Cold War vibe going on, but with dragons. And there's also like historical period type racism in the book because Sarah like is biracial. Her dad is white, her mom was black, and then her best friend is Japanese American. So like they're facing like racism within the town they live in. And one of the characters some of the characters who you get to meet later on in the book are gay, and they also like kind of face that historical period type like homophobia. So just be aware of that. But yeah, I thought this one was just so good. It was a really quick read for me too. And then we've got Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman. In the medieval kingdom of Gored, women are expected to be ladies, men are their protectors, and dragons can be whomever they choose. Tess is none of those things. Tess is different. She speaks out of turn, has wild ideas, and can't seem to keep away from trouble. Then Tess goes too far. What she's done is so disgraceful she can't even allow herself to think of it. Unfortunately, the past cannot be ignored, so Tess's family decides that the only path for her is a nunnery. But on the day she's to join the nuns, Tess chooses a different path for herself. She cuts her hair, pulls on her boots, and sets out on a journey. She's not running away, she's running towards something. What that something is, she doesn't know. Tess just sees the open road as a map to somewhere else, a life where she might belong. And apparently this is set in the same world as another series by this author, The Southlands. So, yes, check that out. And then this one, I don't have a copy of it. It's we do have it in our collection, but when I was pulling books, I somehow forgot to grab a copy. So this is Shatter the Sky by Rachel Kim Wells. And there's another book in this series as well, so I'll read you the summary. Raised among the ruins of a conquered mountain nation, Martin dreams only of sharing a quiet life with her girlfriend Kaya, until the day Kaya is abducted by the Arati, prophetic agents of the Emperor, and forced to join their ranks. Desperate to save her, Marin hatches a plan to steal one of the Emperor's coveted dragons and storm the Arati stronghold. If Marin is to have any hope of succeeding, she must become an apprentice to the Aramati, the Emperor's mysterious dragon trainer. But Marin is unprepared for the dangerous secret she uncovers. Rumors of a lost prince, a brewing rebellion, and a prophecy that threatens to shatter the empire itself. Not to mention the strange dreams she's been having about a beast deep underground. With time running out, can Marin survive long enough to rescue Kaya from impending death? Or could it be that Marin is destined for something greater than she could have ever imagined? And this one I did really like. The second book is called Storm the Earth, and yeah, I listened to this one as an audiobook, and it was really good, so definitely check that out. Okay, then we have Onyx and Ivory by Mindee Arnett. This is one we have over at our Hancock Branch Library. Okay, they call her Trader Kate. It's a title Kate Brighton inherited from her father after he tried to assassinate the High King of Rhyme. Cast out of the nobility, she now works for the Royal Courier Service. Only the most skilled ride for the relay, and only the fastest survive, for when night falls, the night drakes, deadly, deathless dragons, come out to hunt. Fortunately, Kate has a secret edge. She's a wilder, born with forbidden magic that allows her to influence the minds of animals. And it's this magic that leads her to a caravan massacred by drakes in broad daylight. The only survivor, Corin Tormain, the son of the king. Her first love, the boy is she sworn to forget after he condemned her father to death. With her past once more entangled, Kate and Corwin must put the past behind them to face this new threat of drakes who attack in the daylight and the darker menace behind them. So I haven't read this one yet, but it does sound really good. And it's the first book in the Rhyme Chronicles, which I'm looking up now. It looks like there's 2 books in this, so Onyx and Ivory and Shadow and Flame, and we have them both at the Hancock branch. Then we have Dragonspell by Donita K. Paul. This is the first book in the Dragon Keeper's Chronicles. Okay. Once a slave, Kale is given the unexpected opportunity to become a servant to Paladin, yet this young girl has much to learn about the difference between slavery and service. A small band of Paladin servants rescue Kale from danger, but turn her from her destination, the hall where she was to be trained. Feeling afraid and unprepared, Kale embarks on a perilous quest to find the Meech dragon egg stolen by the foul wizard Risto. First, she and her comrades must find wizard Finworth, but their journey is threatened when a key member of the party is captured, leaving the remaining companions to find Finworth, attempt an impossible rescue, and recover the egg whose true value they have not begun to suspect. Okay, then we have As She Ascends, which is actually book 2 of the Fallen Isles trilogy by Jodi Meadows. The first book is called Before She Ignites. So let me read you that summary. I have it on my phone because the first book was checked out. Before. Mira Minkoba is the hope bearer. Since the day she was born, she's been told she's special, important, perfect. She's known across the Fallen Isles not just for her beauty, but for the Mira Treaty named after her, a peace agreement which united the 7 islands against their enemies on the mainland. But Mira has never felt as perfect as everyone says. She counts compulsively, she struggles with crippling anxiety, and she's far too interested in dragons for a girl of her station. Then Mira discovers an explosive secret that challenges everything she and the treaty stand for. Betrayed by the very people she spent her life serving, Mira is sentenced to the pit, the deadliest prison in the Fallen Isles. There, a cruel guard would do anything to discover the secret she would die to protect. No longer beholden to those who betrayed her, Mira must learn to survive on her own and unearth the dark truths about the Fallen Isles and herself before her very world begins to collapse. So yeah, I haven't read that one, but it does sound great, and that is the cover. And then finally, House of Dragons by Jessica Cluess. This is the first book of the House of Dragons series. And I just have to say I really love this cover. The Emperor is dead, and so the 5 houses of Etrusia must attend the calling, where one of their own will be selected to fight for the throne. In this proud dragon empire, the oldest child of each house is always called the Golden Child, the one who has spent a lifetime preparing to compete in the glorious trial. But this year is different. This year, these 5 outcasts will be pitted against one another. The Liar. Emilia must hide her terrifying powers or be put to death. The Soldier. Lucian is a warrior who has sworn never to lift a sword again. The Servant. Vesper is a dragon trainer. Her skills alone will keep her in the game. The Thief. Ajax knows that nothing will be handed to him. He must take what he wants. The Murderer. Hyperia was born to rule. Nothing and no one will keep her from the throne. Let the battle begin. That sounds awesome. I really want to read this now. So yeah, those are the dragon books, and hopefully you will check them out. I'll have the complete list in the video notes, as well as if some of these are also available online as ebooks or audiobooks. And then really briefly, since we're doing origami this week, I did want to highlight a few books that have like origami. I haven't read this one, but it's got origami on the cover. So hopefully that means there's origami in the plot. And then this one I just read, Love and Other Natural Disasters. It was really great, and as you can see, she's got like an origami crane on her shirt, and origami is really important to this. It's part of like an art exhibit that one of the characters is putting together. And then another one that I'd forgotten about is Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan, which our copy's checked out, otherwise I would show it to you, but there is some origami in that book as well. So yeah, I hope you all had a good weekend, and I hope you have a good week, and come by the library and check out some books, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!